As they were traveling to the place where the two oceans meet, we come upon the second problem. Is this to be understood literally? That this is the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, and where these two oceans meet at Cape Town, that's what they told me, Cape Town. you will find the most loaded of all men in Cape Town. My opinion, respectfully so, is that this is not to be interpreted or understood literally. And we come up now with a second problem. The second problem is that there is a methodology. There is a methodology which is very prominent in today's world of Islam, which declares, falsely so in my opinion, but I speak respectfully, not disrespectfully, that only Allah and His Messenger, alayhi salatu wasalam, and the early Muslims, the Aslaf, plural of Salaf, only they are authorized to interpret the Quran and the Hadith. And if they did not interpret, you cannot interpret. No. Tabule. And I say no, you're wrong. Knowledge did not stop 1400 years ago. There's more knowledge in the Quran that was communicated. There is more knowledge in the Quran that was communicated to us by the Aslaf. And that new knowledge that comes will explain the Quran, in addition to what was already given in the Quran. And so there was a mufassir of the Quran, Imam Baydhawi, rahimahullah. And Imam Baydhawi says that the two oceans are not the Atlantic and Pacific, but he refers to two other oceans symbolically, as for example the ocean of knowledge that comes from above, the ocean of knowledge that is internally received and didn't stop 1400 years ago, is still coming, and the ocean of knowledge that is externally acquired, scientific knowledge. And I am persuaded that this is the correct interpretation of the two oceans. That in Akhirul Zaman in particular, you will find the most learned of all men, the only one who can penetrate the world in Akhirul Zaman, the only one who can explain the world in Akhirul Zaman, the only one who can respond to the challenges of the world in Akhirul Zaman, is the one who stands at Majma' al-Bahrain, that scholar of Islam who combines knowledge externally acquired and the knowledge internally received. Now I have to stop, because I have to answer these critics. They're coming after me. Now they're even ridiculing me, but I will not respond to their ridicule. Is there knowledge that can still be received today? New knowledge. Let me take them, because you already know, I don't have to tell you. Let me tell them that Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said, hadith is in Sahih Bukhari, he said that Nabuwa or prophethood is comprised of how many parts? Help me somebody. 46 different parts. This young man traveled all the way from Britain to be with us here tonight. We won't mention his name for security reasons. He's got to go back to Britain. Prophethood is comprised of 46 different parts. He said, after me, not me, the Prophet, after me, nothing remains of prophethood in the world except one part. And that one part of Nabuwa or prophethood, which is still here in Masjid al-Ghufran, in Tamantun Dr. Ismail, in Kuala Lumpur, is Ru'ya Sadiqa and Ru'ya Salihah. Good visions and true visions, and good dreams and true dreams. And they still remain in the world up to this day. And so knowledge can still come to us now. New knowledge. And that knowledge comes from Allah. And that knowledge has the status of being the last part of prophethood still remaining in the world. They cannot critically respond to this. No, sir. Of course, when that knowledge comes, it does not have the status of the Quran. No. It is not binding and incumbent upon anyone. No. And so when someone shares that knowledge with others, you have to say, Allahu A'lam. Allah knows best. It is not obligatory, it is not binding, it is not incumbent on anyone. But new knowledge still comes into the world. And right here in this masjid I gave you an example of the Surah Al-Ma'idah. Remember, don't take the Jews and don't take the Christians as your friends and allies. You remember? And right here I explained to you that Allah is not speaking about all Jews and He's not speaking about all Christians. No. Well then, which Jews and which Christians? And this was never asked before. This is the first time it's being asked. And then I said the answer is right there in the words which follow. بَعْدُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. Meaning, do not take such Jews and do not take such Christians as your friends and allies, who themselves are friends and allies of each other. Jews and Christians were never friends and allies of each other until Western Christianity, not Eastern, not Russia, not Greece, not Romania, not Bulgaria, not Poland. Western Christianity, Britain, France, United States, Germany. When these Western Christians joined together with the European Jews to establish the Judeo-Christian alliance, which today has NATO as its military arm. This is what Allah is speaking about. Don't take them as your friends and allies. And if you do, وَمَنْ يَتَوَلَّهُ مِنْكُمْ فَإِنَّهُ مِنْهُمْ. You've lost your Islam, as they've lost it in Libya, which today is the Zionist state of Libya. And so this is new knowledge. No one ever explained this verse of the Quran like this before. It's the first time. But does that mean because it is the first time, it is inadmissible, it is false? Not at all. It is new knowledge. I am sure it is the correct interpretation of the Quran. But you must never be arrogant to say, this is the truth. You say, Allah knows best. Allah knows best. And just present it and let the people decide. And so he said that the two oceans are the ocean of knowledge externally acquired. Your scientific knowledge, for example. and the ocean of knowledge internally received. And that ocean of knowledge has not dried up, it's still there. I hope the Jews are listening, because this is of critical importance in the next 20 years that lie ahead of us. That's the difference between us and you. And tonight's lecture is directed to you, the Jews. My teacher of blessed memory, Maulana Dr. Muhammad Fadlur Rahman Ansari Rahimahullah, his scholarship was Majma' al-Bahrain. He represented Majma' al-Bahrain, the ocean of knowledge externally acquired and the ocean of knowledge internally received, and mutually integrated into a harmonious whole. That's methodology.